Disney movies. We all love them.
Disney movies. We're making one right now.
We're making one.
Welcome.
This is what they call a cold open.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see.
Welcome to the 12 days of stuff that honestly wasn't filmed around Christmas time, and also isn't coming out that close to Christmas.
Hello, welcome back. It's me, Spencer, and this is a Serif, and we are going to
Just one.
we're gonna explain some Disney movies because we're real experts on Disney movies. We're gonna be talking about more so like the villains of Disney movies because we're both interested in villainy.
We've got Disney movies.
Yeah, we each picked out some Disney movies for the other person to like talk about the villains of. And you know, hopefully there's no overlap. But you know, we both have some different tastes in Disney movies, so you know, it should be all right. Why don't you start us off? What's the first Disney movie?
The first Disney movie that I have on this list is Peter Pan's uncle. Would you describe the villain of Peter Pan's uncle for me?
So Peter Pan's uncle is one of the first Disney movies, possibly the first one. It's kind of like where it made the villain like the main character, right? Which was not something that was done a lot at the time, 1972. You know,
right?
We have Peter Pan's uncle, and now he's just a huge meth head. Right?
Yeah.
He has cancer. He starts selling meth.
Oh. To help pay for his cancer
treatments. He kills this guy named Gus Fring, who
Gus Fring.
Gus Fring. He runs a chicken restaurant.
From
in Neverland.
He later inspired a character of a similar name in Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. That's a movie. And that's Peter Pan's uncle.
Peter Pan's uncle.
So my first Disney movie that I have for you today is called Rodolph the Rude-Nosed Reindeer.
A classic.
Classic.
So, Rodolph the Rude-Nosed Reindeer is a bit more of a satirical take on the classic story of Rudolph. The villain of the story really being their interpretation of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because Santa Claus in this version is portrayed as essentially a slave master. He's got the reindeer, and he's an evil man. He's real gross.
And I want to say I always petitioned for like that one to be called Santa Claus Slave Master.
Yeah, it would have been a more fitting title. Santa Claus in this version is very, very grotesque. Grotesque?
Yes, grotesque.
Yeah, you know.
When you like grow test.
Top tier comedy, everybody. We did it.
That face when you grow test.
I think it's a really interesting take on capitalism and the origins of Christmas in Christianity. And there's a lot of like religious symbolism going on, and it's a very artistic film, way outside of the range of what Disney would do nowadays.
Oh yeah,
you know,
no, Disney nowadays.
Their corporate garbage, you know, they can't do anything like that.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney nowadays, we have Gonzo the Magic Pig. Oh wait, it's your turn.
Spencer, Can you describe for me the villain of The Gorilla Who Saves the West?
The gorilla.
This one,
The West.
this
This is set in Western times. Way back.
way back.
So the gorilla is like, were there zoos in Western times? The gorilla. That's there is a zoo in this movie. If there aren't zoos in Western times, then that's on them.
Yeah.
Not on me. There's a zoo, and the gorilla escapes from the zoo, and then the evil zookeeper is like, I want to destroy the West. Because he wants to turn it into the North.
Oh.
He wants to. He's a big fan of like the penguins, and he's not. But he doesn't like Western animals like gorillas. so
one might even say that there's a connection between this movie and Rudolph the
Right.
Rodolph
the Rude-Nosed Reindeer. Yes, yeah. So, some say that all Disney movies are connected.
Right.
So
the well-known Disney cinematic universe.
Yeah, and so we have like in this one there's the Pizza Planet truck. It's like
Yeah.
all right, and Gonzo the Magic Pig.
Gonzo the Magic Pig is a circus performer. He's a very interesting character in the circus because he appears to the audience to be able to fly through the air. Like the mythical "when pigs fly"
Yeah,
saying. Right. Gonzo is the flying pig. He flies in the circus. And the villain of the story, he has a stake in some of the other circus performers. He's like their manager.
Right.
And so he doesn't like that the show is being stolen away from them.
Yeah, I mean, like the seal who can... it just doesn't have the same ring like the seal who can balance a ball on its nose, you know?
Yeah. Or like the elephant that can fit inside a car.
Right. Or the car that can fit an elephant inside it.
Yeah,
it's kind of
that one's really not interesting at all.
Yeah.
So the audience is absolutely raving over the pig instead of these other acts that this circus manager guy has put so much time and money into. So he hatches this elaborate plan to make the Gonzo the Magic Pig fail during one of his performances, to make him crash out of the air. He shoots a cannonball in his direction, and the pig gets sort of disoriented by these cannonball shots that are firing in his area, and there's like holes that are punctured in the top of the tent, and it's all kinds of crazy. And Gonzo just can't handle the stress and crashes down.
So the villain wins in this movie.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie. They couldn't just make it villain shoots a cannonball at the pig and the pig fucking dies. Gonzo manages to come back after his circus failure and the chaos that ensued after the circus manager started firing cannonballs. He gets back up to being the great circus performer that he once was, and then steals the show right at the end, and then he becomes the circus manager himself. Can you describe for me the villain of Star Wars Episode 12, Their Bat Act?
Oh my god. Okay. So Star Wars Episode 12, long awaited.
Long awaited.
We have General Moff Tarkin.
Oh,
comes back, and now
wow.
Now he's Darth Tarkin.
Yeah,
He has-
my favorite character, Moff Tarkin, has now evolved into a Sith Lord.
And so he wears one of those outfits, but they were like, we already did black and white. And I think they might have done gray too.
Mhm.
So they're gonna do, this time it's purple.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the same kind of outfit, but it's straight up, it's bright purple.
And the ghost of Mace Windu is really upset that he's stealing his purple style.
Oh yeah, Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Mace Windu is back in this movie.
He came back?
He came back.
No way.
And he's like, he kind of goes after Moff Tarkin.
Mhm.
But when Moff Tarkin hears that he's so upset about the purple style, Moff Tarkin changes the color of his suit.
What a nice guy.
So that it's like neon green. And then Mace Windu is like, okay, well, I'll fight for you then. And so then Mace Windu goes after the good guys. So
Wow.
like two villains, you know.
Dang.
Moff Tarkin and Mace Windu team up.
What a movie.
So next we have this is a great movie, Disney movie. It's Breaking Bad, the movie.
You son of a bitch. I have to describe Breaking Bad now? Oh, Jesus Christ. Breaking Bad being such a morally gray kind of show, movie, excuse me.
Yeah,
The
we
movie.
already did gray, morally purple.
Morally purple. Of course, it's kind of hard to pinpoint who exactly is the villain in this story. The villain is Walter
Junior, that's right. Good point, Serif. That guy's scheming behind the scenes.
White. It is Walter White. And that's because his perspectives and his reasonings for doing all this stuff with drugs is really different in the movie than it is in the show.
Oh.
He doesn't have as much sympathy for people like Jesse, who are like just, everybody's struggling to get by, but he doesn't even seem to really pay attention to this fact, and he just likes doing meth and cocaine. But Walter White does not have cancer in this movie. He doesn't have Walter White does not have cancer, but he does have a flip phone, and he keeps needing to buy new flip phones because he keeps dropping them on the ground when he's doing meth. So he needs to sell more meth to feed his permanent flip phone breaking streak. What am I doing?
He doesn't have cancer.
He doesn't
but
have
what he
cancer.
does have is a flip phone.
Can you tell me about the villain or villains of Avengers, They Ruined the Earth?
Avengers, They Ruined the Earth is when the people of Earth finally realize that the Avengers ruined the Earth.
Yep.
And so they start this campaign called Avengers, They Ruined the Earth.
It's
And
very on the nose.
The Avengers see it and they're like, we didn't ruin the Earth. Thanos. It was Thanos. Every time somebody's like, hey, Iron Man just destroyed this building here. They're like, no, it was for the greater good. We had to stop Thanos.
Yeah.
He's still a big deal, guys. So the villain in this movie is the Avengers. All of them.
All of them.
We have Iron Man.
Iron Man.
We have the Hulk.
Mhm.
We have Ant-Man.
Uh-huh.
We have Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Chris Pratt.
Raccoon Man.
Uh-huh.
And Groot.
Yeah. That's all of them.
And that's the Avengers, and those are them. This one is it's kind of a sequel to The Princess and the Frog.
Mm-hmm.
It's called A Frying Pan and the Frog.
Ooh. So, you know how at the end of The Princess and the Frog, they turn back into humans, right? They have kids, but the kids get turned into frogs as well. And they somehow find themselves inside of this restaurant. And it happens to be a restaurant in France. The villain of the movie is the head chef of the restaurant. The head chef of the restaurant he really wants to cook up those frogs. He sees these frogs wander into his kitchen and he's like, that's free food right there.
I'd want to cook them too. He's kind of a sympathetic villain, really.
You could play the head chef in the reboot of the movie.
Yeah. I've already gotten a few offers.
But you know, you're far too busy of a guy. You can't make time for that.
Yeah, we're already making this Disney movie.
We're already making this Disney movie, you know? Can't do multiple Disney movies at once.
With no pay.
Yeah. It's rough out here for us independent Disney movie makers.
Yeah.
Then, you know, antics ensue and the head chef gets his justice served against
he gets
him.
Cooked.
He gets cooked. He gets cooked. And, you know, for the children who are watching this movie, that's gotta be kind of traumatizing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
they gotta learn that they could be cooked one day.
Yeah, overall, 10 out of 10 movie. Can you tell me about the villain of The Adventures of Mr. Grimbles?
The Adventures of Mr. Grimbles. It's where this guy, Mr. Grimbles, he's like, I want to do like a hot air balloon kind of excursion. Right. But instead of doing it in like 1860, I'm going to do it in like currently in like 2020.
As we all know, we are filming this in
2020.
Definitely 2020.
2020. And it will come out in 2020.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna fly halfway around the world, so that I don't have to come back home to where I live. And I can live wherever I end up landing. And so he ends up landing in the middle of the ocean. And so, and he meets this talking shark. And the talking shark eats him. And then we cut to Mr. Grimbles' son, who's back in the original place, right? But now the shark has a taste for Mr. Grimbles' DNA, so the shark goes out and he tries to track down Mr. Grimbles' son. But Mr. Grimbles' son, Mr. Grimbles' son is like really into harpoon guns, right? The shark comes into his house at night, but he's ready because he was doing his nightly harpoon gunning, right?
Yeah.
So he's holding a harpoon gun already, and he's like, "There's a shark," and he shoots the shark, and he doesn't even know that shark killed his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the next movie we have today is kind of an old one.
Oldie.
One of the earliest Disney movies ever created.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called I Sure Am Glad That Nuclear Weapons Don't Exist Yet.
Ooh. So, the villain of I Sure Am Glad Nuclear Weapons Don't Exist Yet is, essentially the entire government. And they really did predict a lot about what the state of the world would be like decades and decades later when nuclear weapons actually did exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But It's really astounding how they even managed to predict that they would be nuclear weapons and not just weapons that would destroy the world. They sort of portray nuclear weapons as being something good while also unintentionally portraying them as absolutely horrible. So really the villains in this situation are just the people who made this goddamn movie. Can you give me the villain of a Disney movie called My Son is a Clown?
My Son is a Clown. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Stunning.
It's about this boy, and he is a clown.
Right.
He was born a clown. Not like he wants to be a clown. It's like he is a clown. He had the makeup already, like when he was birthed. And they tried to scrub it off, but all the king's horses and all the king's men, they couldn't get it done.
See, this is actually where the acronym ACAB comes from. It's assigned clown at birth. So the next time you see somebody like put ACAB in their Twitter bio or like have it on a shirt or something, that means that they were actually assigned clown at birth.
Yep. And the villain in that movie is actually the police.
Yeah. No correlation to
ACAB. So it's there's this police officer who doesn't like clowns, and he's the police chief. He's the president. All of the police officers have to follow his orders.
Yeah.
And so all the police officers are going after all of the ACAB people.
Oh no.
But the clown wins in the end.
The clown wins in the end. I'm gonna be laughing about
This is. I feel like we've just made political propaganda, but I don't know what we've made it for.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm gonna say that it's anti-cop.
Yeah. So the next one that I have is called Fuck, and it's a sequel to Up, where Carl just has a lot of sex.
Oh no.
With many women.
Oh god. Oh no.
So.
Oh no.
Like, what's the villain in that movie? Do you think?
How do I even like explain anything about this? So, Fuck. It's a movie that wasn't able to be shown in most countries because of its explicit nature. It's like rather pornographic. The villain of the story is this new old guy character, and this old guy is just like, he's just trying to prevent Carl from having so much sex. I hate that I have to describe this now. I don't want to describe Carl from Up having a lot of sex. That's not what I signed up to do today, Spencer. Yeah, I think that's about what we need to say about that, because that movie is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, well, we have different tastes in Disney movies, as we said before.
Yes.
Carl has a lot of sex. Tune in this week for Fuck.
I'd like you to tell me about the villain of Pirates of the Caribbean, The Alien Invasion.
Pirates of the Caribbean, The Alien Invasion.
Yeah.
They got Jack Sparrow. And Jack Sparrow was an alien.
Whoa.
And
he was
so
an alien the whole time, guys?
and the twist is it turns out that Pirates of the Caribbean takes place in an alternate reality where they're the aliens, and so then they come to like the real Earth.
Oh shit.
That's in current year 2020. So the villain is again the president, current president Joe Biden, who was inaugurated next month. And so Joe Biden is like, we don't want Jack Sparrow to really exist. We prefer to see him on the screen in the movie that exists in this movie. The first Pirates of the Caribbean exist in this movie because there was a cameraman who was there. Because in canon there was a cameraman who was there for the first movies, and he can travel between dimensions.
Wow.
The cameraman, and so the cameraman got the footage from the other dimension and then sold it to Disney in our dimension, and that is the canon of the fictional movie Pirates of the Caribbean: Alien Invasion.
I never thought that we would be discussing a canonical multi-dimensional cameraman, but I also didn't think that we would be discussing Fuck.
Yeah.
The movie where Carl from Up has a lot of sex.
So my next one is Fantasia.
Oh.
Fantasia, yeah.
Fantasia.
The Disney movie. Yeah.
The Disney movie. So Mickey's like a wizard or whatever, and he's like casting spells and stuff. But I guess the villain of Fantasia is really just his own anxiety around being the spell casting wizard. He's out there worrying about what these animals that he's conjuring from the tip of his wand are going to be like. And so he ends up creating all kinds of weird animals that don't exist. And he's not happy about that. He holds himself to that. And it's a very relatable thing. As somebody who struggles with anxiety, I relate to this a lot. You know?
And it's another moral of that is kind of like people don't like change.
Oh, yeah.
Don't like create new ideas.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Do things by the book.
Mm-hmm.
All of the classic family values that we have come to expect from Disney. That it really all started right there in Fantasia. That's when they really committed to that.
Disney's first movie.
Disney. That's just such a stupid joke. Guys, can you believe that Fantasia was Disney's first movie? I would like you to describe the villain of Sleeping Beauty 2 Awake.
Sleeping Beauty 2 Awake. The princess from Sleeping Beauty
Right.
wakes up.
Yeah.
And it's actually Disney's only 2-second film. The villain is kind of like the light from the sun. She's like and then she gets used to it.
Yeah.
Now this is my favorite Disney movie.
Okay.
I saved the best for last.
Truly.
We have George W. Bush is responsible for the war in Afghanistan.
Jesus Christ.
Which is my favorite Disney movie, personally. So
George W. Bush is responsible for the war in Afghanistan. The villain of this movie is the titular George W. Bush, who is responsible for the war in Afghanistan. And really, they don't even try to hide it. It's basically just a documentary. It's like, it's not even like, they don't even stylize it at all. It's really just like, it's just footage of war. Some may even argue that it's not even really a Disney movie. It made it out into the public against the will of Disney as a greater company, but it still exists out there.
Yeah.
It still exists, and it is a very informative documentary, and it's very hard to watch. And George W. Bush, the villain that we all need to recognize.
And let's end it off with one last one from Serif.
See, how can I follow up George W. Bush?
It's
is
true. It's
responsible
just
for-
too good.
My personal favorite Disney movie is a movie that is simply called Timmy. Can you describe the villain of Timmy for me?
The villain of Timmy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's this kid named Timmy.
Right.
And we kind of go through his life. It's kind of like a montage, like we have at the beginning of Up.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of Up, we have the montage where he's like falling in love with Ellie, and then Ellie dies, and then in the beginning of like Fuck, we have the the montage where he's just having sex with a bunch of different women.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of Timmy, we have a montage where Timmy is growing up, and Timmy is in this like white room, right? Without like anybody else there, so he just has to kind of like he drinks water and he eats food that is provided for him, and and stuff like that. And we kind of stay in the white room for a while, and eventually another character enters the white room, and it's this television. It's a talking TV, and the TV, the TV starts talking about what's going on in the outside world, which is like everything's been kind of destroyed and stuff. And Timmy's like, I need to get out there. I need to get out into the outside world. So he ends up escaping. So he opens the door and he leaves the white room and he goes out into the real world. And it's kind of like a 1990s kind of deal.
Okay.
But like he's like, I wonder. It doesn't seem like anything is destroyed out here. And so he kind of like he goes around and he gets a job. He gets a job in like an office building and he does some office stuff. And so one day, this guy approaches him. This guy Morpheus approaches Timmy.
Fucking goddammit. I was like, oh shit, he's like describing like a real appealing movie. Like, I would watch this. And now it's just The Matrix. It's just The Matrix.
And he's like, Morpheus is like, would you like to try the red pill or the blue pill? And
Hey, which one of these you want?
Timmy takes the red pill and then he goes out of the simulation.
Yeah,
And it's like, and then it's like, oh, clearly it is messed up, like the talking TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bunch of battles and stuff. And so the villain of that movie is Agent Smith. All right, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we did it.
Where everybody